was over the screen when he was being resuscitated.
And the doctors gave him maybe an hour to live. Then they revised that and decided, well, gee, they asked us if we'd sign permission to do some experimental surgery on him to put cannulas in for an ECMO machine, but said it would probably take until the middle of the afternoon to get that together. And we looked at him and said, well, what's his chance without that? And they said, he doesn't have one. We said, well, of course we'll sign the permission.
It's kind of scary when you go from operating under the theory that, well, this could be a slight problem. I mean, after all, we're older than the, quote, average parent, and supposedly wiser. And then to discover that this has turned into not only not the home birth that you were going to get called, oh, come over and see the last parts, but turned into an all-night vigil with pixie dust and pit solution, and finally a cesarean section.
Rafi went home to tubes, and he was scared looking, and he looked dead.
Yes, you. Was 3 days after he was born, on might say Rosh Hashanah, and he was all hooked up to wires and a boy baby.
We sent out the word to everybody to pray for him. We were totally non-denominational. We had Reform and Orthodox and Muslims and Wiccans and Native Americans and various brands of Christians all doing their own thing because we figured we could use all the help we could get.
And the hundred IVs. And
Little Borg baby.
Time kind of stopped and it very much blurred together. He was actually in for 45 days. He was born the 1st of October, came home on the 15th of November.
Coming home with a very ill kid is a lot different than coming home with a kid that's just going to take the standard care that everybody has done that human growth class on taking care of. That it requires a lot of cooperation from the whole family and getting things together. It requires lots of cooperation from the siblings.
Still seems kind of endless because we had public health nurses coming in and we were feeding him through a tube in his nostril and down to his stomach. And he really hated having that tube placed. So after about 10 days we said, well, enough of this, because we've been working with him on teaching him how to drink out of a syringe. I was pumping milk. Nina and I were feeding him with a syringe, and I was trying to nurse him.
I was happy that he was getting better. First thing I did with him was I played with him, then I changed his diaper.
I could play with him more.
On October 1st, 1998, Rafael made it to an important milestone in his life. He turned 1 year old. But this first birthday gave everyone something special to celebrate. Not only had he been born and lived 1 year, but he had been resuscitated, lived through experimental surgery, healed a hole in one of his lungs, gotten his voice back, avoided seizures and brain bleeds, and this past summer he came through a case of viral meningitis okay.
Now, being Rafi involved, being opinionated, and being kind of, well, smaller than average, it means, liking to pull Daddy's beard, and making all kinds of interesting sounds, particularly raspberries, and refusing to be on one's tummy, but scooching along on one's butt, and trying to stand up, and playing with toys, and eating huge quantities of banana.
It's fun to do stuff that he thinks is fun, and will get him to go, hee 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 hee, and that's fun.
Back when he was born, apparently one of the doctors said that initially the doctors were too stubborn to let him stay dead, and he was too stubborn to die or have the complications they thought he'd have. And at this point, he is continuing to be, well, persistent. He's continuing to be very much his own person. Rafi he's the best Rafi we know.
Mostly he seems to like to turn upside down.
What he isn't is what a lot of the doctors warned us that there was a good chance he'd be, which is he isn't obviously retarded. He doesn't have cerebral palsy. He doesn't have severe seizures or any seizures that we can tell. He doesn't have feeding problems, really. And he doesn't have to take any medication. We think they're pretty lucky. We think we've been blessed.
I'm glad he came back, and I like him a lot. He's a nice, cute little baby.
Doctors have come from distant cities just to see me. Stand over my bed, disbelieving what they're seeing. They say I must be wrong.